held on him for other charges in the United States. Therefore, he will remain behind bars. Ammon Bundy's attorney was not happy with that. Again, there was a very heated exchange, and eventually about a dozen U.S. Marshals rushed into the courtroom and tackled Ammon Bundy's attorney. They threw him to the ground. Computers on the tables went flying. It was something I've never seen before. The judge then told all of the media to rush out of the courtroom. And once we got down here and started talking to Shawna Cox, when she came out, she said after the media left that the U.S. Marshals actually tased Ammon Bundy's attorney. Again, a very wild scene, something I've never seen before. And this comes after the verdicts were read. Again, not guilty of conspiracy to impede officers of the United States, and also not guilty to possession of firearms and dangerous weapons.
I wish I was down there with you all.
Chris.
Unlike Benner's federal courthouse with the very latest, we'll continue to.
There you are, Valdez.
So keep it here at 5 and 6, and updates coming in.
There's Court News Girl over there, pretend like she's. Ugh.
Oh my God, you better calm down for that.
Was you in there when they tased
Oh, heck
Mumford?
yes, and I'm so ticked off, I can't believe it.
So they tased Mumford.
They tased Mumford.
What did they tell me tased him for?
They tackled him to the ground and tased him.
What did they tase him for?
Oh, absolutely, they tased
Wow.
him.
What
I
did?
am furious about that. What happened? Well, we were all found innocent. And that's the way it should have been. You're all found innocent. They should have released Ammon and Ryan, and they didn't. They held them, and they said that because Ammon's attorney Mumford said, "Your Honor, you don't have any more jurisdiction over him because now the jury has acquitted, so they're free to go." And she said, "No, they're not. The marshals are going to take him and go to Nevada or whatever." And he said, "No, you can't do that." He said, "Because you have no jurisdiction. Bring me the paperwork that shows. I'm his attorney. Bring me the paperwork and show me that they have a right to retain him." And they didn't do it. They just attacked Mumford because he was not going to let him take. They tried to take Ammon and Ryan anyway, and he said, "You're not taking them." And then the marshals jumped him and wrestled him to the ground. They like 8 of them, 10 of them, and they threw him to the ground and tased him.
Well, what about David Fry?
David Fry's released.
Did they let him go right now?
He should be leaving now. He's leaving with his attorney.
Okay, great.
So he should be.
So David Fry gets to walk out.
Yes, David Fry gets to walk out. David Fry walked out.
Okay, good deal.
David Fry walked out.
Everybody hear that?
They got a clear roadmap of really, I think the government ought to drop its charges right now. Those individuals as well.
And for those who've already pled guilty,
well, I think I think you've already seen that there is new evidence coming to light that they said, hey, you know what? No, this isn't right. And I think, especially with the informants that they weren't told about, and things like that. So that they, because I think in fact, if you go back and look at some of the defendants who had taken a plea, they said, yeah, well, I'm doing this based on the information I have. And so when they now find out that some of those individuals were government informants whose statements were being attributed to them, I think they very much have a right to say, hey, it's not right for the government to present this evidence and say, hey, you need to be guilty because of this evidence, and then it comes from someone who's being paid by it. Right? I mean, the government can't create and cause the very crimes that have been prosecuted. I think that's the point. And so, yeah, I would expect to see some of those things get withdrawn.
And some of our viewers missed when you were talking about the chaos there at the end of the court verdict, but one of our reporters said there were computers flying everywhere and that there was quite a scrum there.
Well, I was in the middle of it, so I didn't see any of that.
I did.
But I can tell you, I was asking for paper. And I said, if you have authority to take Mr. Bundy in custody.
You were right behind me.
And instead, they said, that they self-existent. I'm like, oh, goodness gracious. I'm just standing there. I'm asking you for your authority. Because the judge just said Mr. Bundy is free to leave unless the marshals have authority over him. And so I said, hey, if you have authority over him, show me. That's what I said. And instead, they put me down, they tased me, and they put the cuffs on.
Marcus, did you meet with the judge after all this happened?
Well, I didn't meet with her, but I did have a chance to talk with her briefly, just from the well. And I told her how much I appreciated the opportunity to litigate in front of her, how much I respected her, and even when the rulings didn't go my way, I told them I could tell that she cared. And you know what? That's the best thing you can. That's the best thing about being a judge. That's the best thing what you can expect from being a judge is that they're going to care. And they know they're not going to get it right every time. I know they're not going to get it right every time. But let's just keep caring about it. So I shared that with her, and she shared with me that she had a chance to talk with one of the jurors that was dismissed, and he wanted to convey his respect for me and for the other attorneys.
Question was, do you think they should push, or this will push the federal government back a little bit?
That's what Mr. Bundy. That's what Mr. Bundy was out there saying. Respect your limits, because you're limited. And yes, you're for those areas where you have authority, you are the supreme law of the land. But only for those areas where you have authority. And for the rest, you got to respect the limits. That's all.
Shawna Cox, when I asked her reaction, she said she started crying. I think it's very understandable. What was your reaction when you heard those words?
I think it was very gratifying. To lay it all out there, and to have your client lay it all out there like Mr. Bundy did, where he was willing. That you think about it. That takes faith in your fellow man to say, you know what, I'm gonna tell you my innermost thoughts and feelings, my actions. I'm gonna tell you what I did and tell you what I didn't do. And then you're just asking them to believe you. And so when they do, and you can imagine that's a very gratifying feeling to say, you know what, the justice was done.
On the question of bias, are you at all worried about you might get a different verdict here?
No, actually, I respected the way that it came up. It was the jurors themselves were concerned about the bias that was coming into the room. And so for it to get reported like that actually gave me much more confidence in the deliberations themselves. And in fact, that was the sentiment, I don't know if you were there, that was the sentiment of everyone there in the courtroom when because I think at one point the judge says, well, his bias might be
You and your lollipops.
And Ryan Bundy, I think, stood up at that point and said,
damn right.
but bias is bias.
Got any more
I
of
don't
those?
want bias in my favor any more than I want bias against
Not really.
I want a fair and impartial
See, we should save that back in the house.
That's the justice that was done here today, and that's what I think that would be the message that I would send is justice was done today.
Do you think it's
I was just going to say, we've heard for weeks and weeks now that distrust of the government and the system. I wonder if this reconfirms maybe some of that trust.
Well, it reconfirms the trust in the people,
Not the government.
Well, and again, the government respects its limits, yes, but it's got to be the people that makes this, that forces the government to respect its limits.
do you think today's verdict in any way will have a bearing on that?
You're fine.
Oh, yeah. Because the Nevada case is based on the same facts.
Stop touching me.
Almost all the same facts. So yes, we litigated Burgerville here, and you saw the result. So sure, for sure.
Are you at all concerned though that it might go the other way? Sports, they call it a makeup call. Like, say, well, we didn't get him in Oregon, let's get him in Nevada.
Well, again, that's when it comes down to who is the case in front of. Is it in front of the government? No, it's in front of the people, and the people's judgment will be just as it was here. It'll be just in Nevada.
So you think a favorable outcome?
Absolutely. I'm very confident. I think Mr. Bundy very much feels the same way. He was very candid about Bunkerville and about the litigation there. And in fact, the government, in this case, the government said, and the court kind of cautioned us, are you sure you want to, address these allegations? Because the government's going to do the same thing. And Mr. Bundy's like, yeah, why would you even think that I would be differently than that? I'll answer all allegations. That's what Mr. Bundy was saying.
Can you confirm, were you tased by marshals?
Yes.
You were. What exactly happened for those of us who weren't in the courtroom?
Okay, well, they surrounded me and Mr. Bundy, and I said, if you have authority to arrest him, please show me your authority. And instead, they took me down on the ground, and they put my, they rammed my head into the ground, and then they tased me.
And were you arrested?
Yeah, I was arrested, and I was taken away, and I was cited.
And so you're obviously free now. Are you going to face any charges for that?
Yeah, they cited me for two charges, for disorderly conduct and for, I think they called it resisting a lawful order or something like that.
Okay. Why were you disorderly?
I was asking for I was asking them to show me their authority.
That's disorderly.
You tell me, man.
Did you tell your clients that they were free to go when you were actually?
Well, not me. The judge told them that they were free to go. The judge told them she has no more jurisdiction over them, and that's how I understood the law as well. And she said, well, the marshals might have something to say about that. And I said, well, let's hear what they have to say. And instead of showing us their authority, they said, because as your viewers may not realize, we had litigated this issue where we had asked, a couple months ago, we had asked this court to modify the orders that Mr. Bundy placed in the volume, and he said they had no authority to do so. So I said, well, fair is fair. If you don't have authority to help us, then what gives you the authority to take Mr. Bundy in custody of you? I told the court, everyone knows where Mr. Bundy is. He's going to go home. You know where he is, and you know how to get a hold of him. But let's do it orderly that way. Instead, they surrounded us, and when I said, hey, show me your papers, then they put me to the ground, they tased me, and they put me under arrest.
Will you be facing any charges?
Yeah, I got cited. I cited for, I think they called it disorderly conduct, and they called it resisting authority or something like that.
The thug life.
That's what happens when you win a jury trial against the federal government.
So you ask them what their authority is.
So
It's a boot to the
much
throat.
was happening at the same time. A lot of victory as well.
Yeah, as soon as the verdict came out.
How are you feeling? Obviously, probably conflicted emotions after something like that.
There's no conflict in my emotions at all. I'm very happy for my client. I'm very happy that justice was done. That to me is the only consideration that I have. And my actions at the end were simply in defense of my client, to say, hey, if you're going to take him into custody, show me your authority, because otherwise he's a free man, he's a free American, and he's free to leave.
What were you cited for?
I was cited for I think it was disorderly conduct and for
resisting arrest.